Let me tell you something. Everybody wants to be great. Everybody wants to win. Everybody wants to reach the top, but not everybody is willing to give what it takes. See, we live in a time where people think talent is everything. You can sing, you can dance, you're smart, you've got some natural gift. That's good, but let me make this clear. Talent is just your invitation to the game, not your guarantee to stay in it. Talent gets you through the door. Effort keeps you in the room. I've seen people with all the talent in the world, sharp, gifted, full of potential, but they never maximize it because they thought their gift was enough. They thought being good was the goal. Good is the enemy of great. You can't sit on what you were born with and expect life to hand you the crown. You've got to grind. You've got to push. You've got to work that gift until it turns into greatness. Some of you are in school right now, and you're wondering why the grades don't look like your dreams. You've got the mind for it, but you're missing the effort. You can't just show up for class and think that's effort. You can't just open the book once and think that's studying. You've got to go all in. If your dream is to be a doctor, a teacher, an engineer, whatever it is, then your study hours can't look the same as everybody else's. You can't want extraordinary results and put in average effort. That's not how this works. See, effort is what separates the talkers from the doers. Effort is what separates the students who graduate from the ones who just attend. You can have all the potential in the world, but if you don't wake up every morning hungry to get better, you're going to watch people with half your ability pass you by because their effort was louder than their excuses. Let me say it like this: when you're putting in extreme effort, you don't need somebody to tell you to work. You don't need the teacher to check on you. You don't need your parents to remind you, because you've decided you want something so bad that you're going to give everything you've got for it. You've made up your mind that no one will outwork you. That's what effort looks like. It's when you don't wait to feel like it. You move because you've got a mission. When you understand that effort is the equalizer, you stop comparing yourself to other people. You stop worrying about who's smarter, faster, richer. Because effort doesn't care about status. Effort doesn't care about where you came from. It only cares about how much you're willing to give. And when you give everything, your focus, your time, your consistency, effort starts turning into excellence. And I need you to hear this: when you give effort, you take control of your outcome. Life stops happening to you and starts happening through you. You start realizing, I may not have what they have, but I've got something they don't. Grind. I've got heart. I've got work ethic. And those are the game changers, because talent may shine for a moment, but effort, it endures. So stop sitting on your gift. Stop waiting for someone to notice your potential. Start working like your future depends on it, because it does. Don't just rely on what you were born with. Build what you were made for. Because at the end of the day, talent might open the door, but only extreme effort keeps it open. You know what separates the ones who make it from the ones who don't? It's not intelligence, it's not luck, it's not opportunity, it's how they handle their excuses. See, every single one of us has a list of reasons why we couldn't, why we didn't, why it wasn't possible. I'm tired. I don't have enough time. I didn't have support. Nobody believes in me. But let me tell you something, success doesn't care about your list. The world doesn't stop because you've got excuses. Life will not adjust itself to your comfort level. You either push past them or you get buried under them. There's always going to be a reason not to give your best. Always. You've got to train yourself to outwork your excuses. Because the truth is, most of the time, it's not the lack of opportunity that holds us back. It's the lack of effort we give when it's hard, when it's cold, when it's uncomfortable, when it's not fair. That's where the real difference is made. You think the people who made it didn't have reasons to quit. You think they had it easy. No, they just refused to let the excuse become bigger than the goal. Students tell me all the time, can't focus, there's too much going on, work part-time, I don't have time to study, I'm not good at math, and I get it, I really do. But here's the truth, if it matters to you, you'll find a way. If it doesn't, you'll find an excuse. Every time you say, I can't, you're really saying, I won't. You're giving yourself permission to stop trying, and that's dangerous, because the moment you stop trying, you stop growing. I remember when I was in school, struggling, frustrated, thinking life was unfair, and one day it hit me. Nobody's coming to save me. Nobody's gonna hand me the life I want. I've got to go get it. I've got to work for it. That's when I learned how to silence my excuses and let my work speak. See, when you outwork your excuses, you don't need sympathy. You don't need validation. You've got proof. Results. You have to be willing to do what others won't. Stay up an extra hour to review your notes. Get up early to go over that formula one more time. Use your weekends not just for rest, but for progress. Because if you only work when it's easy, you'll never grow past average. The grind doesn't care about how you feel, it only responds to effort. And when you learn to push through your own resistance, that's when you become unstoppable. Some people pray for success but won't pay the price for it. They want the degree but won't put in the study time. They want the results but not the routine. You can't cheat the grind. You can't fake effort. The truth always shows. And the beauty of it, when you give extreme effort, when you refuse to let excuses win, life starts opening doors for you. Not because it got easier, but because you got stronger. I'm telling you, excuses are comfortable, but they're expensive. They cost you progress. They cost you potential. They cost you the future you say you want. Every time you choose an excuse over effort, you trade growth for comfort. But every time you push past that voice in your head that says, not today, you build power. You build resilience. Build character. And that's what success is really made of. Not perfection, but persistence. The ones who make it aren't the ones who never fell. They're the ones who refuse to stay down. So the next time that excuse shows up, the next time that voice says, you can't do it, I want you to say, watch me, then go to work. Because the moment you outwork your excuses, that's the moment you step into your power. Everybody loves to talk about motivation. Everybody wants to feel fired up, inspired, charged with energy. And that's great. Motivation will get you started, but it won't keep you going. Because let's be honest, there are days when you don't feel it. Days when you wake up tired. Days when you don't want to study, don't want to train, don't want to show up. And if all you've got is motivation, those are the days you'll quit. See, motivation is temporary, but discipline is permanent. Discipline doesn't need your permission. It doesn't need your mood. It doesn't even need your agreement. Discipline just shows up and does the work. There's a difference between being motivated and being committed. Motivation is about emotion. Commitment is about decision. Anybody can work hard when they feel good. But the real ones, the ones who rise above, are the ones who work hard even when they don't. That's discipline. It's doing what you said you'd do long after the feeling you set it in is gone. And that's what separates students who talk about success from the ones who actually graduate and build it. When you rely only on motivation, you live like a roller coaster. Up one day, down the next. You study for 2 hours when you're inspired, then you take a week off when you're not. You write goals in your notebook, but you don't act on them when they get hard. When you live with discipline, you become consistent. You don't wait for the perfect day. You make the day perfect by what you do in it. You don't wait for the mood. You move because your purpose demands it. And I need you to understand, discipline is not punishment. Discipline is freedom. When you train yourself to be consistent, you stop being a prisoner of your emotions. You stop depending on luck or hype to perform. You start taking charge of your life. When you're disciplined, you don't need to be pushed. You push yourself. You don't need a reminder. You remind yourself. You don't wait for opportunity. You prepare for it. That's why disciplined people always seem lucky, because when the moment comes, they're already ready. There will be days when it's tough. Days when you're tired of studying, tired of failing, tired of trying. But discipline will whisper, keep going. Discipline will remind you why you started. It'll tell you that one more hour, one more page, one more step, it all counts. That's how winners are made. Not in the spotlight, not on the stage. In those quiet moments when nobody's watching and you choose to stay focused anyway. Some of you are waiting to feel motivated before you move, but that's not how greatness works. You don't wait to be ready. You work until you are. You don't wait for the right mood. You create it through action. Discipline is the bridge between what you want and what you get. It's the glue that holds your dreams together when the excitement fades. Every single person who's achieved something worthwhile will tell you the same thing. It wasn't motivation that carried them through, it was discipline. You can't let your emotions control your effort. Because emotions change, the goal stays the same. There will always be distractions, always be temptations, always be a reason to say, I'll do it later. But later becomes never if you let it. Discipline says, do it now. Discipline says, I don't feel like it, but I'm going to anyway. Discipline says, I made a promise to myself and I'm not breaking it. And when you start living like that, something changes inside you. You start trusting yourself. You start believing in your own word. You stop needing to be hyped because you've become the hype. And that's when you become unstoppable, because motivation might start the engine, but the discipline drives you to the finish line. Everybody wants success until it's time to pay the price. Everybody talks about greatness, about wanting more, doing more, being more. But when it's time to sacrifice, that's when most people disappear. Because sacrifice doesn't sound pretty. Sacrifice means giving up something now for something greater later. It means saying no to comfort so you can say yes to your calling. And I'm telling you, you can't have both. You can't chase comfort and greatness at the same time. You've got to choose. See, when you really want it, when you really want that dream, that degree, that life, you stop asking, what do I have to do? And start asking, what am I willing to give up? Because everything in life has a cost. You can't expect to reach your goals and still hold on to all your distractions. You can't say you want to graduate top of your class, but spend every night scrolling, talking, wasting time. You can't say you want to be the best and still live like the rest. There's no shortcut, no hack, no easy road. The only path is sacrifice. You've got to be willing to lose sleep sometimes. You've got to be willing to miss a party or two. You've got to be willing to stay in when everyone else goes out. It's not because you're boring. It's because you're building. You're building something bigger than a good time. You're building a legacy. And when you're serious about your dream, you'll stop feeling bad about what you're missing out on because you'll know that what you're gaining is worth so much more. The truth is, sacrifice hurts. It's supposed to. Growth isn't supposed to feel easy. You think the people who made it didn't feel pain. You think they didn't lose friends, lose sleep, lose comfort. They did. But they decided that their vision was more valuable than their feelings. They traded temporary pleasure for permanent progress. And that's what I need you to see. Sacrifice is not loss, it's investment. Every time you give up something for your goal, you're not losing, you're planting. And those sacrifices, they compound. One day, all those nights you stayed up studying, all those mornings you woke up early, all those moments you said no when everyone else said yes, they'll add up. People will look at your success and call you lucky. They won't see the price you paid. They won't see the sweat, the discipline, the loneliness. But you'll know. You'll know it wasn't magic. It was sacrifice. Some of you keep asking for success. You're not ready to let go of your comfort zone. You're holding on to habits that don't serve you, people who don't push you, and routines that keep you stuck. You say you want to go to the next level, but you're still living on the same one. You've got to give up the old version of you to become the new one. You can't evolve and stay the same. Something has to die for something new to live. There's going to be moments where it feels unfair, where you'll look around and see people relaxing while you're working. And you'll ask yourself, why do I have to give up so much? But that's the cost of excellence. That's the price of greatness. You're not like everybody else. You're chosen for something different. And because you're different, your path won't look like theirs. Don't let temporary discomfort distract you from permanent victory. So when it hurts, when it feels like you're giving too much, remind yourself, this is what success feels like in progress. Every sacrifice you make is shaping the person you're becoming. Every no today is building a yes for tomorrow, because success doesn't come to those who want it. It comes to those who are willing to sacrifice for consistency. That's the word most people overlook. Everybody wants results, everybody wants progress, but very few are willing to show up every single day, no matter what. And that's the real secret. Consistency isn't flashy, it's not loud. It doesn't always get applause, and it's powerful. Because when you keep showing up, even on the days when you don't feel like it, you start building something deeper than motivation. You start building belief. You start proving to yourself that you can be counted on. Let me tell you something. Confidence doesn't come from talking about your goals. It doesn't come from posting about what you're going to do. Confidence comes from consistency. It comes from the repetition of doing what you said you would do over and over until it becomes part of who you are. When you put in the work daily, you train your mind to trust yourself. And that trust, that's where real power comes from. Some of you don't realize every time you quit early, every time you skip a day, every time you make an excuse, you're teaching yourself that your words don't matter. You're building a habit of stopping. When you stay consistent, when you keep showing up even when nobody's watching, you start creating momentum. And momentum is what carries you when motivation fades. Think about it like this. You don't get fit by going to the gym once. You don't get smarter by studying once. You don't become great by working hard one time. It's the small things you do repeatedly that change everything. It's those quiet hours in the library. Those early mornings when you get up before the sun. Those nights when you review your notes while everyone else is watching TV. That's where greatness is built, not in one big moment, but in 1,000 little ones. Consistency builds credibility. People begin to see that you mean what you say. But more importantly, you begin to see it in yourself. You start realizing, I can rely on me. That's the most powerful feeling in the world, because once you trust your own grind, once you've seen what happens when you keep showing up, nobody can shake you. You stop needing outside validation because your effort has already proven your worth. But let's be real, consistency isn't easy. There will be days when it feels boring, days when it feels pointless, days when you'll wonder if it's even working. That's when most people quit, right before the breakthrough. The ones who keep going, who stay locked in no matter what, they discover that consistency is a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it gets. The stronger it gets, the more you accomplish. And before you know it, you're not just surviving, you're excelling. You have to stop treating consistency like an option and start treating it like oxygen. You can't take a day off from your dream and expect it to live. You can't feed your goals once a week and expect them to grow. You've got to nurture them every single day. Even if it's just a small step, take it. Because small steps, done daily, create massive change over time. And here's what's crazy: when you stay consistent long enough, confidence shows up naturally. You won't have to convince yourself that you can do it. You'll know you can because you already have every single day. Walk into every test, every challenge, every opportunity with certainty because you've earned it through repetition. So stop waiting for perfect conditions. Stop waiting to feel ready. Just show up again and again and again. Because greatness isn't built in the moments you work hard. It's built in the moments you refuse to stop. Because at the end of the day, consistency doesn't just build confidence, it builds champions. We live in a world where everybody's chasing attention. Everybody wants to be seen, to be liked, to be followed. But let me tell you, likes don't equal legacy. You can have 1 million followers and still not make a difference. You can trend today and be forgotten tomorrow. Because real success, real greatness isn't about who claps for you. It's about who changes because of you. It's about impact. It's about what remains when the noise fades. You've got to make a decision. Do you want to be impressive or do you want to be impactful? Because impressive is temporary, but impact lasts forever. Impressive makes people look at you. Impact makes people grow because of you. And the truth is, chasing validation is one of the biggest traps you can fall into. Because when you live for approval, you die from rejection. You start shaping your life around what people think instead of what you're called to do. And that's dangerous because opinions change, but purpose doesn't. Legacy is about doing something meaningful with your effort. It's about using your education, your talent, your time to make a difference. It's about giving more than you take. The goal isn't to be popular, the goal is to be valuable. When you pour into people, when you serve, when you lead with integrity, you build something that lasts long after the applause is gone. Because the truth is, when you live for purpose, you don't need recognition. Your work speaks for you. I need you to understand, legacy is built in the dark. It's built in the moments when nobody's watching, when you're grinding, learning, growing, preparing. Because real leaders, real change makers, don't need an audience to stay consistent. They don't do it for attention. They do it because they know who they are and what they stand for. You can't build a legacy if your effort disappears when nobody's looking. Legacy is about doing it right when it's hard, doing it honest when it's inconvenient, and doing it excellent when it's unnoticed. Stop scrolling through other people's success stories, wishing for their spotlight. Start writing your own story. Your purpose doesn't need comparison. It needs commitment. You were given your gift for a reason. You were put here to make an impact, not to impress. And every time you give your best, every time you choose integrity over popularity, every time you work with passion when no one sees it, you're building that legacy piece by piece. And one day, people will look at you, not because of how many followers you had, because of what car you drove, but because of the difference you made. They'll remember how you inspired them to try harder, to believe more, to never quit. That's legacy. It's not about being remembered for being famous. It's about being remembered for being faithful. Faithful to your grind, faithful to your purpose, faithful to your calling. Legacy isn't about what you get, it's about what you give. It's not about how much you achieve for yourself, it's about how much you contribute to others. Every classroom you walk into, every job you take, every person you meet, leave them better than you found them. That's how you build something that lasts. Because the truth is, people may forget your name, but they'll never forget how your effort made them feel, how your consistency inspired them, how your sacrifice changed their perspective. So stop chasing likes, stop performing for approval, stop living for the crowd, start living for the cause. Build something that speaks when you're silent, because real greatness isn't measured in numbers, it's measured in legacy. Because when it's all said and done, it's not about being liked, it's about being remembered for what you gave.